And then just a quick setup. In this video, what I'm going to show you is how to take the front panel off, get the top panel off, the instrument panel off, lint trap out, and then I'll show you how to remove the front door, and then how to take the drum out, and then how to get the new belt wrapped around the tensioner, and then replace everything. It's pretty straightforward. Step. Unplug this thing, and at the end, the very last thing you'll do actually is plug this back in. All right, the first and the last step. So there are two plastic snap-on panels on each side of the unit. Just you could put a screwdriver gently on the side and just pop it out, and when you're putting it back in, just it'll pop, and that's it. So look, that's the start of the video and the end. So I'm calling these in and out videos throughout this repair. So just keep everything in mind as I'm taking it in or taking it off when you put it back in. All right. Okay, thanks. All right, in and out video. So you're coming out. Unscrew the screws on each side. If you're putting it back, don't forget to put the screws back in. All right, in my videos, I like to show people what they're getting into. So you'll be undoing a couple of screws in a bit, but what you're doing is you've got these two tabs on each side, or slots, sorry, on each side of the dryer. Those fit into these two tabs right here. So when you put them back in, they'll kind of slide in that way. And when you pull the instrument panel off, you'll unscrew a screw, and I'll show that, and you'll just pull this whole unit back, and it'll pop right out. When you're putting the unit back in, of course, just slide, and so this is sort of the beginning and the end. Slide these two, position these two tabs to get into the slots, and just give it a nice little push. This will serve as the taking out and putting back section. So this is the lint trap. Pull that out, or put it back in if you're on the return trip. And there are two Phillips head screws that you take out or put back in, depending on which section you are on. A little tip for putting the screw back in: just push the lint panel around until you can see the hole line up in the bottom, and then put your screws back in. Another thing to consider: you've got this little hole here, the lint trap entrance. It goes into the back of the unit. You can't get at those screws easily. What I would consider, maybe put some tape across the front, or lay a towel or something. Prevent screws from falling in. You can see why I'm saying that. When you get the door, the front panel, detached from the top panel, just lift the top panel up, and you'll expose this cable down here. Now, I'm making this video on the way back in, so when I started with this, these two pieces were together, and I'll just attach them again. Try and do it with one hand. And while I'm doing that, you would have taken a flat-headed screwdriver and used them to separate a tab that is in a slot that keeps these two pieces together. So I need two ends. I'm just gonna stop the video. All right, so when you are taking this out, like I said before, just take a flat-headed screwdriver, pop it in here, and it'll go in, and then just lift up the bottom part, and that'll release the tab from the slot, and you can pull these two apart. This is an in and out video, so there are two leg screws on the front. You see where I am here. This is the front of the unit. Just in here, two little leg screws. Get a socket, a drill, or a socket wrench, and remove that. When you put it back in, notice that little black tab on the inside. Use your hand. That's like a spacer, and like a washer almost. Use your hand and line up the hole in that so that you can get the screw through. And this is when you put it back in. Right, this serves as the taking apart and putting back video. So I'll show this at the beginning. Although I've taken this apart. So the inside the front panel, there's some black tabs that fit up underneath into slots on the underside of the cover. There's a drum, call it a mate. I don't know, this is like the female side of the drum. And the female side mates onto call it the male side, and then just keeps the drum suspended. And there's another equal, I guess, on the inside, In the back, there's another male drum or male section in the back. So these two things just suspend the drum. And then at the bottom of the fixture, there's two little tabs here, that prongs that come out, and that's what the door fits into down here. That slot will fit into those two tabs. Okay, one on each side. I want to shoot this before I put the drum back on. This is the idle tensioner. You can see what it does. It takes up the slack of the belt and just keeps it the belt nice and tight onto the drum. So I wanted to show this before I put the drum in because it's kind of awkward filming with the trying to hold up the drum, etc. And there's the belt. The outer side of the belt is the smooth part. The inner part is ridged. It's rubber, and it matches up to the threaded spindle that's there coming out from the motor. And this tensioner does, as the name implies, the top part of my belt with my thumb goes up and over the drum, and the black part goes underneath the drum, and then the tensioner just takes up the slack and keeps the belt nice and tight around the drum while it spins. To get the tensioner in, it's real easy. By the way, there are two kinds of tensioners. One actually uses like a pulley, like a wheel. Same idea as this. This is just a smooth end that the belt slides over. This is just kept in with force. So you can see the small tab right here slides into the slot, and then two other tabs fit in the back, and then the tensioner just stays in like this because of tension. I've got the drum back in. It kind of hangs based on the belt, and what you do is just it spins fairly freely. I would just adjust the belt back onto the middle of the drum, and you'll see the track from the previous bad bolt, and just bit by bit just spin the drum and readjust your belt. I'm using because it was handy, I used the drill just to prop up the drum. The drum, you just slide on. It's real easy, luckily. You just slide it on. You'll notice in mine, I have a rear drum seal goes around the outside of the drum, and it keeps a nice tight fit. I found when I did this, I need to buy a new rear drum seal kit, so I'm going to do that. But for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to do it, but that is a good thing to check. So I'm just using the drill that I used to clean out the duct, just to prop up the drum. And then you can see in here the tensioner in place, and you can see the belt coming through here around the spindle, and then it feeds out this slot and then up and over the top of the tensioner and back up the side of the drum. Okay, so and I didn't show that because I only had one hand to film, but you can imagine how to do it. A little note at the end. I wanted to clean the duct, which as you can see down there, and I was amazed at how much crap came out of that duct. Look at all that. The dryer wasn't probably working, so what you buy from Home Depot is just like a chimney sweep with a sectioned bunch of attachments, and it goes up about 8 feet. So I just put a little drill, put it on a drill. Make sure you spin the drill correctly so that you don't unthread this thing. You don't want that to become unthreaded up there, so just figure it out. Well, here, I'll tell you. So I set it to spin clockwise. Righty-tighty, is kind of the direction, if that makes sense.